right, welcome to this episode of JB&A Today, the live edition. Okay, we're live in Las Vegas, getting ready for NAB, which is starting tomorrow-ish. But because it's tomorrow, today we want to talk about what's new at Caringo. All right, so with me today is the fine folks from Caringo. Now, Ben, tell people what Caringo does.
So we are the leading provider of object storage to the M&E industry.
Okay, so let's stop with object storage.
Okay.
So first of all, I think there's a lot of people that don't quite get what object storage is, even though most of them are using it, they just don't realize it. Yep. And that's because it's S3 enabled storage.
Correct. So S3 is the protocol, and object storage has been used most commonly in Amazon Web Services, but it's also the back end for such large places like Google or Facebook. They're all using object storage today. It's really what's powering the internet or websites today.
Yeah, and conceptually, it's built different than RAID. It
Correct.
spreads the data different than RAID. It allows you to get more capacity and better redundancy overall, so that there's no fear of a drive failure or a chassis failure. It's just about having your data in enough places that there's no more concern.
Yeah.
Okay. Which brings up a really good concept. When is the right time to look at object store versus nearline or tier 2, traditional RAID, or even tape?
So that's a great question, and it comes up quite often. I've had many discussions here today with a lot of your partners here, and it's really about scalability. Typically, we like to see environments with about a half petabyte or 500 terabytes of storage on up is where we really see some value, where you can build that redundancy and get the efficiencies where it turns into actual cost savings in your environment.
Got it. Now, there was an interesting part of that conversation too, when we talk about it as S3 enabled storage, but this can be on-premise. This is something that lives in your rack, in your server chassis or in your server farm with every other bit of storage you have, and it becomes that immediately accessible tier of storage versus a cloud one, which has got a lot of up and down time.
Right. So when you think of S3, it's a protocol. It's not a storage. It's the protocol used to connect to the storage. Amazon uses that for their cloud storage. When you get S3 storage, you're using the protocol. It's the same protocol used by all the MAMs and asset managers and the HSMs in the media and entertainment business. They use S3, and we communicate with that protocol as well as your traditional NFS and CIFS or SMB protocols. And the beauty of that is it's a very modern approach to some of the age-old storage problems. How do I get the most bang for my buck? How do I store things efficiently? How are they always available? And object storage or on-prem S3 storage that we provide gives you the best of both worlds.
And it's faster than tape. I think that's one thing that I want people to understand is tape is great for something you can throw on a shelf, toss across the room, send to a vault. But there's that restore time in tape. The same as if it's sitting up in the cloud. It's that 4-hour to 24-hour window that Amazon charges for. And a tape could be, well, how fast can the robot load it? Is the robot already busy somewhere else? With Caringo and with Swarm specifically, there's a much faster return rate on that data, right?
It's 0 IOPS for the first read. It is that amazingly fast. It is on-prem. What limits the speed is really the network.
Yeah.
So, and when you're inside a LAN, it's always going to be faster than the WAN. And when comparing it to, let's say, tape, there's not the whole search time, there's not the whole robotics, as you said. There's also the guarantee that the data is going to be available. With tape, we're still talking mechanics. And in some situations, those mechanics fail, and you're not able to access the data off the tape.
If you've only got a 2-drive system and somebody's doing archives right then, you're not getting your content off that until that gets released.
Well, what about now? People are looking at LTO8. That's not necessarily compatible with LTO5.
No,
so if someone has something from 10 years ago, some IP on tape as their archive, and they need it, and they have a new player, they're not able to read it.
Now, one of the pieces I like about the Swarm is that the Swarm can grow. And it can grow really fast, or it can grow, sort of incrementally as the clients need more space. Yeah. And so the way you guys have architected this, you can add additional capacity very, very easily without necessarily having to add a whole chassis to the system and do a giant forklift upgrade. So it really makes the cost evaluation of dynamically expanding, because everybody's media is getting bigger. And let's face it, in the media entertainment world, editors are also known as the world's greatest pack rats. They don't throw anything away. They keep it forever, even if they're never going to use it. And so your storage gives them that ability to say, cool, hang on to it, we'll store it for you. That's side. Now, the other problem that I notice with S3 enabled storage or that kind of experience, you always have to go through an API and a connector. You guys have solved that problem with something new.
Yes, so we recently announced our release of Caringo Drive. Caringo Drive is a desktop virtual folder for PC or Mac that gives you that feeling of it's like a traditional network system where it's a lettered drive, and you can simply drag and drop or open up the folder and see your list of files or objects right there on your desktop.
So it totally changes the experience because now I don't have to wait for the HSM, I don't have to go through the MAM. If I know where the file is, I can open up the drive, grab it, and keep moving on with my day.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah, that really changed the experience. I'd be curious to see how that looks from a streaming perspective, allowing the streaming engine to work directly off of that storage layer.
I would say what it's present us with is now when we work with customers, is we have multiple options to get the data to where it needs to go, multiple ways. We have that, we have our web portal as well, which is built in with a built-in search that you can use. We also have APIs for direct integrations. We have the S3 protocol, the NFS protocol. So it's about creating this platform that can adjust to whatever the needs of the business is, not just for today, but also for the future.
So you guys have made this on-prem cloud-based solution that has 27,000 different ways of connecting to it based on the user, which means my MAM can connect, my storage, other tiers of storage can connect. Everybody can communicate in the way that's most effective or just the fastest, I guess.
Absolutely.
Including off-site, and so then that brings us also to replication and other things that the object store offers.
We can replicate cluster to cluster, one to many, many to one. We can also replicate to cloud providers like Azure, Microsoft Azure, or we can replicate to BT for their global cloud, or some local partners as well.
Guys, no, spectacular. I love it. I love the solution. So there's lots of third-party integrations coming. Obviously, we've worked on the Squarebox, the Cat DV one. We're looking at Quantum integration, SNS integration. I mean, what other partners do you guys have that are integrating with you?
Sure. On the M&E side, we have Pixit, Levels Beyond, Atempo. Let me see, Axel.io, a number. Pretty much what we have found is anybody who supports S3 protocol, it takes 15 minutes and we're up and working with them. And then on the enterprise side, traditional backup vendors like Enterprise Vault or Commvault, a number of others as well, healthcare, VNAs, they all have connections to us, APIs.
Oh, that's spectacular. So it's all about interoperability. I think that's my message that I'm carrying away from NAB this year is interoperability is key to the survival of technology.
Absolutely.
If it doesn't interop with the next booth over, we're sort of all toast here.
Because you never know what you're going to need next.
No, this is awesome. This is awesome. Okay, so you guys are at NAB.
Yep.
You got a booth.
Yes.
Do you know the booth number?
11807.
Oh, he is the first one to survive the quiz booth number of the day.
Happy hour Monday and Tuesday.
Happy hour Monday and Tuesday. 2 happy hours.
Yeah, 1:30 each day. Come by for some good craft beer.
Can't argue this. All right, well, Ben, thank you for being here with
Absolutely.
me. I really appreciate it.
Okay,
this is Caringo. The product is Swarm. You need to see it, so come to NAB, check it out, or there's still a few hours left in our day. Come over here and see it with us, and we'll see you on the next episode of JB&A Today Live.